OP finds out her father is not such a good man that she once thought he was. Guys, today I have 3 stories for you, and we're gonna kick it off with a wild story about something the father just can't hide anymore. A family secret that's about to be uncovered. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. If you're new to the channel, my name's Mr. Reddito, and I present daily stories. Let's get right into story number 1. Growing up, my friends would always say that my brother and me had the coolest parents. They were the laid-back but still involved mom and dad. I was especially close to my dad and thought he was the best father ever. He made Hot Wheels dollhouse by hand for my birthday, to give you, just for an example. When I wanted to be Supergirl, my mom sewed me a costume for Halloween. My parents are a physically affectionate couple too, and my brother and I thought it was gross when we were kids. But now I realize that being in your 40s and still in love is a miracle. My parents are immigrants, and because of that, we were never really close to their families who lived in their home country. But recently, my brother and I got in touch with some cousins on my mom's side, on our own to get to know them. They were awesome and really chill. My aunts and uncles and grandparents were a little stiff, but they were nice. They only wanted to hear about what us and our mom were up to, and not my dad, so I got kind of frustrated and kept mentioning my dad. Finally, my cousins said if we do not stop talking about our dad, their parents would not let them talk to us anymore. None of her cousins knew what was going on either or why they hated our dad so much, so they all started asking around and digging up some family stuff. I thought it was going to be something stupid, like class differences or my grandparents not approving of my dad for some reason. But we found out the truth, and it was a lot worse than we imagined. My cousins found a single short newspaper article from a digital archive about it. When my dad was young, he kidnapped a university student and kept her for a bit. He was a minor, so he did not get named or get a real punishment or anything on his record. I can't look at my dad the same way again, or my mom. Why would my mom marry someone who literally kidnapped and hurt a person? My parents have noticed something off with us, but I don't even know how to bring it up. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So, I found some relevant comments posted by the OP and an update for this. First, let's check out the relative comments. Also guys, drop a comment down below and tell me exactly how you think this one's going to play out. Is the father going to be forgiven, or is it going to go nuclear? Let's find out with this update. It's okay if you don't believe me. It's kind of unbelievable and horrible thing to happen. So, my cousins know more about this stuff than me or my brother, since they actually speak the language and talk to my aunts and uncles about this. One of my aunts made a few kind of vague statements about what happened, like about him being bad as a teen. And my cousins searched for what she talked about, and they found the article and asked her about it, and she basically confirmed it, because she said that's why they don't talk to my dad. I don't know if it's actually my dad, and I'm hoping it's not, and then we could get over it. I don't know why he did what he did. The article was really short, only a few lines in their native language. It just sort of said kidnapped a university student and basically kept her, and that he was a minor and went to the equivalent of juvie for a few months. Kind of not. I don't know how to explain it, but their country has conservative values, but not that conservative. Like, they're pretty modern. The victim was a student at the university, so she had to be at least 19 or 20 from what my cousin said. She was a woman, not like a girl. I don't know what to think. My cousins don't know much more than me, since the older generation has kept it so hush-hush. Update. To recap what happened, I reconnected with my estranged cousins from my mom's side. My aunts and uncles threatened to stop them from talking to us if I did not stop mentioning my father. My cousin found out and told us that my dad committed kidnapping as a minor and was sentenced to a few months in their county's juvie. So, I tried to bring it up to my dad, but I couldn't. It would have really hurt to accuse him of being a monster if he had literally done nothing wrong, because it meant that I actually thought he could be capable of doing something so horrible. So, I decided to talk to my mom. I told my mom everything, and she just kind of started to justify it, saying that my dad was young, stupid, was in love, and was mentally all over the place. And then she slipped up and said this: "He didn't hurt me." And I told her, I thought we were talking about the student he kidnapped. And she kind of became really quiet. She said she had to go and left the room. Then a couple hours later called me and my brother down to talk with us and our father. My dad said he knows we know and that it was a horrible thing to do. He regrets it and he was forgiven, but did not say much otherwise. I asked him what happened, and my brother told me he did not want to talk about this, and long story short, this is what went down. She was a student at a university an hour and a half away. It was a walk from her home, but she usually stayed in the dorms. Their university had stuff like curfews for women and strict rules, and she was pretty sheltered in other ways, even though she was a legal adult. She was going home for the holidays and it was raining. My dad came up to her and struck up a conversation, offered her a ride on his new motorcycle. He was wearing his school uniform and he looked pretty harmless, so she thought it was safe. But he took her to his house instead. He wouldn't let her leave and she did not know how to get home. My dad did not hurt her or threaten her, but he might have done stuff that scared her. And when the maid came, she saw an opportunity. She escaped and then my dad was arrested. But he got slapped with a few months of juvie, but a clean adult record, which is how he was able to come to the United States. She did visit him to figure out why he did this, and then stuff happened. I kept asking my dad why he would do this, but he just being stupid and selfish and did not realize that it was scary to her. My mom says what's done is done, and they got over it. And now my mom and dad are in love and happy, and that we could go to individual therapy to deal with it further if we wanted. My brother said it didn't matter, and he wishes we did not know it all. I can't even look at my parents the same way again, and honestly, I agree with my brother. I regret talking with my cousins, and I think my estranged family have a right to avoid my family for what my dad did. I just think this would be such a terrible situation to be in, and I do feel bad for OP. If OP did not make the decision to talk to the estranged cousins, yeah, OP would have never figured this out, and that's what OP said that they wanted in the end, was to just forget this ever happened. But I think it's a little past that, and this has created a huge rift in their relationship. Guys, let me know exactly what you think of this story. Do you think the dad is as vile as OP says? Drop your comments down below, and let's check out story number 2. And by the way, guys, if you're new to the channel, just know, I post daily stories, and there's always updates coming out for these, so consider subscribing so you don't miss the updates. Here comes story number 2. Recently, I had the chance to catch up with a friend who I haven't seen in a few years. He works in events and was here on the coast for a boat show that got canceled, so he had some free time, looked me up, and invited himself over. So, we're sitting in the garden around the fire pit, reminiscing, and we get to talking about music. He asked me if I'm still hardcore into Nirvana. Of course I am. Who could have grown up in the 90s and not been? Anyways, that reminds me of something I thought about last year, which was the 25th year since Kurt Cobain passed away. I remembered spending the 5th anniversary of his death with this girl, who he'd introduced me to. She was his girlfriend's best friend, and I just got through a bad breakup, as all teenage breakups are. She liked the same music as me and wanted someone to teach her how to skate. They both went to a different school in another town, so there's no way I would have known about her if my friend had not introduced us. So there I am, April 2019, and I decide to look up this girl to see what she's up to. And possibly freak her out that the date when she came around to mine and watched MTV and Nirvana videos was 20 years ago. I can't find her anywhere. She's had a very unusual name, both a first name and a surname. So I find it a bit weird that I can't find her. A couple days later, I try it again. Not a trace on any platform. Okay, maybe she's got a reason not to be online at all. Working for security services or witness protection or something. No biggie. I'm not going to pry any further. It was just draft nostalgia anyways. Back to this weekend. I mention all this to my friend and he finishes off his beer, gets up to grab another and he says, are you sure it was me who introduced you? Yeah, remember you were going out with A and Z was her best friend. Are you sure? She went to the girls' school with A? Yeah, I remember we went bowling on a double date once. Then went for a crappy dinner at the place above the bowling alley. He just has zero memory of this. Okay, it was 21 years ago. He looks her up, finds his old flame. She's not one of her friends on Facebook. So he messaged her, but has not had a reply back. Looks like she doesn't use Facebook anymore. We only dated for maybe 2 to 3 months, so I've not got any photos of her. I don't remember breaking up with her at all. I've since asked 2 more friends I've had at the time who I'm still in touch with. They have no memory of her at all, which is odd, because there was this time she turned up with a dead short haircut. Not quite Bonnie from Friends, but not far off. And I remember them all chatting together. They have no recollection. I'm really starting to wonder if I made her up to get over this breakup. She was into all the same stuff as me, seemed really cool. Then I have no idea why we stopped seeing each other. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So there's an update for this story that's 1 year after the first post. Tell me in the comment section down below, what do you think's going on? Is this girlfriend real? Did he have a lapse in his memory and doesn't remember her? How does his friends not remember her? Let me know what you think's going to happen. Here comes the year after update. So, this weekend, the weirdest coincidence happened. I coach kids cricket, including my daughter, who's 5 years old. She became friends with another little girl there, so while I was coaching, my wife was sat down chatting with her mom. Turns out, this mom, in a town 70 miles from where we went to school, was friends with my old girlfriend. She mentioned she went to this all-girls school, as it was near my all-boys school. We used to have a shared disco, etc. Anyways, as she said this, I asked her what year she left. The year below me. Same year as the mystery girlfriend. So I asked her, did you know Z? Oh my gosh, yes! Me, her, and A. We were best friends. Wait a second. You're not M, are you? I asked. Because you do look familiar. I think we went to the cinema together with Z. Yes, I remember. We saw that film with Jude Law. So, 70 miles and 23 years later, someone remembers her. I asked why I could not find her online or any trace of her. Turns out the short haircut was the first stage of her transitioning. Female to male. She's been living as a man since leaving school at 18 with a different name, including a different surname as her dad left her mom to live with someone else, so she took her mother's maiden name. She also fell out with A at the time, so that's why my friend who dated A just didn't remember her. He only knew her for a few weeks before they fell out. Anyways, I befriended M, the mom at Cricket, on Facebook, and found A under his new name in her friend list. He now lives in Vermont in the USA. Haven't been to university at Dartmouth. So, there we go. Just thought I'd update. It's such a small world. So this is one of those stories that had a huge build-up. I honestly thought the entire friend group was trolling OP, pretending like they don't remember the girl, but it turns out they really didn't remember her. Let me know if you have any similar situations about an old friend or acquaintance who disappeared for your life for maybe years. Then all of a sudden, that little light bulb clicks and you remember that person. Drop the comments down below and let's talk about it. We still have one more story left in today's video. Let's get right into it. I'm 52 years old and a male. My daughter Amanda, who's 27, and her husband Chris, married a few months ago. Amanda has lived on her own since college, but still is in the general area. Currently, Amanda and Chris aren't that focused on their future. Mostly on having fun and doing things, quote, while they're still young. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, and I think that young people should have that kind of period in their life, especially after this pandemic. I got a call from Amanda. She and Chris told me how they've taken several tests and confirmed that Amanda is in fact pregnant. They would be hosting an announcement dinner but wanted immediate family to know right away. They could barely wait as they have been trying since they were married. Note, this was an intended pregnancy. I told them I was thrilled to be a grandpa. The dinner party happened last week and the announcement was met with only happiness and excitement. Chris and Amanda were talking to a friend and Chris made a comment along the lines of, "Good thing Bobby will while we're at work." I was confused because I'm Bobby, and I asked what they're talking about. Amanda revealed that she and Chris were expecting me to always watch the baby while they were working as they could have fun time while not working. Now, I love my children and will never regret being their father, but I did not sign up for a new baby. I'm done with all that. I want to enjoy my retirement and be free without any underage kids. I explained this to Amanda and Chris. Also, that there are many great daycare options in this area. Amanda began to cause a scene because, quote, "You told me you were thrilled to be a grandpa." I responded that exactly. I was thrilled to be a grandpa, not a parent to this baby. She said that I should help out since I don't have to worry about working. I receive a pension, and that she's young and these are supposed to be the best years of her life. And she thinks it's unfair that she and Chris's life should, quote, be all about a baby. I was very frank and responded that, quote, "Amanda, of course you and Chris's life's going to be all about the baby. That's what it meant to be a parent. You should not have gotten pregnant if you just expected someone else to raise your child." Amanda yelled at me, quote, "Don't be surprised when I put you in a nursing home." My son, Michael, says that I was harsh in my delivery, but not my message. My son, Nathan, agreed that Amanda and Chris are expecting too much, and it was irresponsible to purposely get pregnant when they believe they don't have time to raise a baby. My sister, Sandra, however, told me my comment was callous and misogynistic, and I haven't raised a newborn in 20 years and don't realize how much harder being a parent's gotten. I can agree to start providing at least 4 days of childcare per week, then go from there. Multiple family members are agreeing with Sandra, so I'm looking for some unbiased perspectives on here. Am I the a-hole? I have to say not the a-hole for this one. In fact, I think that the girl should never have these babies if she's not ready for them. OP is not the a-hole. There was one specific comment that I thought was exactly how I was feeling. It states, "Not the a-hole. I have 17 grandbabies and have raised several of them. Helping and raising are two very distinctive things. Enjoy your grandchild, but do not get wrapped up in raising of him or her. Trust me, it doesn't stop at 4 days a week. Alright guys, let me know if you agree with that opinion in the comment section below. That's all the stories I have for you in this video. I hope each and every one of you have an amazing day, and remember, it's cool to be kind. Catch you in the next one.